Oh, hey. Yeah, take it easy.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Hey, finally, you're 2 minutes behind.
I know we're there. How's everyone? Zahier Abader from Leave the Couch, and it's been about a month since I last spoke to you. A month has gone by. It was about just before Batrun, and I was super excited to get going and get racing. But some things happened in that time, and it's made me kind of readjust or maybe rethink sort of what's actually been going on in my personal life, what I'm doing with the blog and all those kinds of things, and I think it's probably time to talk about it. It's just me and my line over here, climbing up Devil's Peak, and the photographer. Hello. So while everybody else is chilling in the summer weather, we are about to head into this cloud that's coming over here. Proper, gonna be cold and Batrun weather. It's gonna be more here. So for those of you who follow me on social media, you would have seen me at Batrun on the 23rd of February, and it was quite an exciting time. I mean, for me, it has been a race that I put about a year of training into. I spoke to Coach Simon about, I think last year, the day after Batrun, and I just set a personal best of like 5 hours 54, so under the 6 hour mark, which is the first time I'd done it. I did it largely without any like clever training protocols or any structured workouts. It was just a sledgehammer, smashing my body against the route and improving over the course and figuring out things along the way through my training, and it helped me to get under the 6 hour mark. So I thought if I set a lofty goal of trying to go like sub 5:30, I'm probably going to need a coach and see if I can actually improve my running over a full year instead of just, you know, the 6 weeks or the 12 weeks before a race, trying to kind of get better and improve that way. So I enlisted the services of Coach Simon, and for the last year we've been working together with structured blocks of training just so that I could pitch up at Batrun after a full year, taking me through all the cycles, all the macro and the micro cycles of training to kind of get me ready and just improve my running for the race. So about 20 minutes into the race, I noticed that my heart rate was super high, close to maximal. It was like probably at 180 average. My legs were extremely tired and I just couldn't breathe properly. I was struggling to breathe and find like a sort of settle into a rhythm in the race. So what I didn't realize then was that I was actually having an anxiety attack. Now I know anxiety attacks are commonplace and a lot of people suffer from them, but this was the first time this has happened to me. I didn't know what was going on, and for the next 2 hours I struggled to get up and down Devil's Peak, and I felt as if my body just didn't want to respond, that I'd never trained before a day in my life, and I was just basically pitching up at Batrun for the first time without any training. And for me, it's my 4th attempt at the race. It was really tough to kind of be battling and to kind of go through that mental state of battling, and now thinking about it, it was just, I just didn't realize what was happening to me at the time. Yes, it's been a shit run, eh? It's been a bit crazy. It's good. I just been feeling a bit flat, honestly. I don't know what's going on. There's a soldier on. So I eventually got to the top, to the summit, and checked in at the checkpoint. And when I turned around to start running, I figured, you know, I'm pretty decent on the downhill, and even the technical downhill and the technical descent like Devil's Peak should be something that I should run and be able to run. But as I tried to move my legs, I just kept tripping and I couldn't find a rhythm. And I think the kind of kicker for me to kind of realize that this is definitely not happening was when I came down a boulder section, which was maybe 2 steps down. My first step, I slipped and fell right away down. Luckily I landed on my feet and no scars or injuries, but it made me kind of stop and realize that something is definitely not right. The fact that I was struggling so much during the race, I think was just, I thought maybe I'd missed out on my nutrition, or I just wasn't feeling a flow or a rhythm or something, and I would eventually get that back. But falling down that section made me realize that there's definitely something wrong, and if I continued on to Platteklip Gorge, even though it was a shortened race, if I continued down to Platteklip Gorge, I'd be potentially putting myself at the risk of injury, and I mean, I have a daughter, there's no point in getting hurt, or especially if you want to go back home to your family, it's just not worth it.
Hi guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Not too lekker. I'm pulling out at the edge, so
Yeah.
I'll let the guys know. Cheers. Yeah. Yeah, no, everything's fine. I'm just not feeling liquor. Cheers, guys.
So I called Stu, the race organizer, and basically told him that I'd be pulling out. And about 20 minutes later, I messaged him again to say that I still hadn't found my rhythm and I'm definitely pulling out. So he told me, look, don't worry, your family's here at the finish line and your daughter's there. And as soon as I committed to kind of pulling out of the race, I just felt this weight lift off me. And suddenly I could run again, and it was really weird. I set a PR down the descent from Dead Man's Tree to the end of the race, and it was just so weird that a couple of minutes before that I was struggling to find some kind of running rhythm. I just couldn't run. I had stopped regularly. I tried to kind of distract myself with social media and like upload to Instagram, but it was really tough. And I managed to get down to the end of the race and to the finish line, and I just spent the time there with everybody. It was really tough to kind of explain why I pulled out, because there's no visible injuries. I just knew there was something wrong. And the more I was talking to people, the more I realized that, look, I was probably having an anxiety attack, and it was something that in the moment at that time I was actually embarrassed about what was happening to me. So for me, like the feelings that I was going through that night, although there was a community-based race, and I love Batrun because it's just such a tight kind of space and people stay around and hang around till the very end of the race. But for me, I just felt embarrassed and humiliated that I could blow up on such a public level, because I was updating my Instagram, I was updating my social media feeds, and I think it's just to come to terms with that kind of public kind of failure was really, really tough for me. It was also more difficult for me that like a couple of hours later or the morning after, I got messages from my friends saying, hey, how was Batrun? What happened? I didn't see any updates after a while. And I don't think anybody realized what was kind of happening, that I was actually pulling out the race. And the fact that I pulled out not even after the first peak was very like, it wasn't normal for me. And the fact that I'd been putting in a year of training, it was really hard to just admit it. So I went to the doctor a couple of days later just to check, you know, is there anything cardiovascularly wrong with me? Is there any sort of things or risk-ish things that I should be worried about? So Dr. Kathy was great. She did a full body checkup and everything was within normal limits. My resting heart rate, my blood pressure, everything, nothing, no obvious markers of any illnesses or any diseases, and I wasn't ill at all. So after speaking to a couple of friends and to some professionals as well, it actually came out that I had an anxiety attack. And the funny thing is, the more people I speak to about it, and since then I've spoken to about it, it turns out a lot of people suffer from this, and they suffer in silence. So there's like a lot of silent sufferers and silent victims, which I think is quite sad that people go through this without anyone to talk to. And over the last couple of weeks since then, whoever's asked me about it, I've been quite transparent and open about it. I haven't exactly posted it on my blog yet, and this will be the first time, but it's made me really rethink about sort of what are the expectations that we put upon ourselves, how do we want to kind of show up, and what are the pressures that we tend to put on ourselves that kind of amounts to the feelings and the kind of resulting anxiety attacks that comes along with it. And it's definitely an unknown area for me. I've been trying to learn about it, trying to understand myself a bit more as to what has caused it. And since then I've done a kind of like a bit of a stock take of my life and what's been happening. And I've just been overcommitting myself. And I think it's something I don't necessarily talk about. It's with regards to work. I've got quite a demanding job. There's the blog, social media stuff that we try to do. There's the training that we try and fit into that. There's still family lives, and I haven't necessarily dealt with personal issues that Things like, for example, the fact that I got divorced a couple of years ago. I hadn't spoken to anyone about these things, and all of these things tend to bottle up, and we don't necessarily realize sort of the pressures that we are putting on ourselves by ignoring these things. And it's kind of made me realize that it's time to probably like stop and take stock of what's happening, and I actually did that. And what I've realized is that I'm well overcommitted, and there's definitely no balance. And I think especially when you look at modern kind of lifestyles and our lives that are projected on social media and so on, we tend to set ourselves these lofty goals that are sometimes unrealistic. And I was trying to be great at work, trying to be great on the blog, trying to be great in all aspects of my life, and it's just not realistic. So what I did was I kind of took stock of where I was, and I've now been re-evaluating everything as to what I want to do going forward. And it's probably going to be resulting in some big changes. It's been a couple of weeks now. I've been trying to get regular sleep. It's funny that I've been actually operating on about basically between 4 and 6 hours of sleep at best for the last like 10 years. Especially with the blogging, I did most of the things at night. So I'm now trying to kind of find that balance again and figure out what I really want, what are those things in my life that are really important to me, and re-evaluating those goals. And there's going to become a lot of changes as a result of that. For me, I think one thing is definite, that I'm going to be stepping away a lot from Leave the Couch and the things that I used to do on the blog, and potentially change it up quite dramatically, to go back to kind of the very basics as to when it started, as just a journal for my running, and not necessarily about reviews, not necessarily about new trail routes and things like that. Just really about a place to capture the things and the feelings that I was going through on Leave the Couch and through my fitness journey. So yeah, some changes are coming. I think the throw hook is going to be going. I love growing this thing, it was fun. But I think I'm probably going to go down to something a bit less maintenance. That requires less maintenance. But yeah, so a couple of changes, and just trying to understand what has been driving or what has contributed to the fact that for the first time in my life I had a 2-hour anxiety attack. I suppose sometimes we need to hit the wall before we realize that we need to put the brakes on. And I think just personally that's something that I've been noticing now, and I want to find that balance again. And I want to kind of put my energies into projects, relationships, and building sort of that connections that are really meaningful. And I think that's sort of what's going to be happening soon, and what's going to be coming out of this, which I'm actually happy about. For the first time in about a couple of years now, I'm actually getting 8 hours of sleep each night, and I've just been saying no to things and reprioritizing my life. And I suppose it's made me think a lot about what I want to do with regards to the blog. I've got a couple of projects that are coming out which I'm extremely excited about, and hopefully now in April things will launch. So a couple of projects coming out that yeah, I'll be working with friends on, and we've been excited about launching that. So yeah, I'll be able to share all of that, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it, trying to get through the reviews that I have piled up, and we'll see what happens from there. I think once I get through all of this work, I'm not necessarily going to be adding anything new to my already long list of to-dos, and yeah, just start learning and figuring things out and finding balance. So yeah, that's my goals. I've pulled out of comrades. Yeah, I think I wasn't necessarily doing it for the right reasons. I think we tend to all just kind of like go on and go on and go on and go from a 5k to a 10k to a 21, and then suddenly we're running marathons, and then suddenly we're doing comrades. I mean, it's, I suppose, finding the reasons for doing the right things and for things for yourself is really important, and I don't think I was necessarily doing comrades for the right reasons. So I think, yeah, taking a break from that has actually just helped me tremendously. I feel more free in training. I'm not necessarily following a training program right now, although I miss the structured workouts from Coach Sai. I think I just needed some time to kind of run with my mates and not watch the clock and not try and do a structured workout, just kind of just run. And it's been really great for the last couple of weeks now for me. So yeah, guys, if you are someone who's one of the silent sufferers with regards to anxiety, I feel your pain, and I definitely recommend you speak to someone, whether it's your friends, family, or most likely a professional. I've been doing that, and it's been helping me tremendously. So yeah, I wish everybody can find the peace in their lives. I'm hoping to get to there and to find that balance, and I wish everyone the best.